All right, let's ditch the textbook vibe and talk about something super important and surprisingly relevant. Why empires really fall. You know, when most of us picture the Roman Empire crumbling, we probably think of barbarians smashing down gates, legions scattering, or emperors getting poisoned in some fancy palace. Dramatic stuff, right? But here's the thing about empires. They don't usually get taken down by just outside attacks. They rot from the inside. And more often than not, that rot starts with something incredibly mundane, yet utterly corrosive: money. Rome's story isn't just about invasions or political backstabbing. It's about a currency that utterly imploded. And trust me, the lessons from that collapse are still echoing today, for any economy that thinks it can just play fast and loose with its money. Let's rewind. For centuries, the Roman economy was rock solid, built on a coin called the denarius. This wasn't just any old coin. It was almost pure silver, the bedrock of their entire system. Soldiers got paid in it. Merchants relied on it. Regular folks trusted it for their savings. Its value and Rome's power were practically one and the same. It was confidence literally in metal form. But here's the rub. Empires are expensive. Armies, roads, aqueducts, wars, they all cost a fortune. By the 2nd century AD, Rome was stretched thin. Taxes just weren't cutting it. So, what did the emperors do? They pulled out an old trick from the authoritarian playbook. They started messing with the money. Instead of asking citizens for more taxes, always a recipe for rebellion, they simply reduced the silver content in each denarius. Same coin, less precious metal. Sneaky, right? And the numbers tell a wild story. Under Emperor Augustus, the denarius was 95% silver. Fast forward to Caracalla, it's 50%. By Gallienus, it's less than 5%. What was once a solid silver coin was now mostly bronze with a silver wash. People weren't stupid. They saw their money losing value right before their eyes. Prices went through the roof because the currency had no real anchor anymore. This wasn't abstract economic theory. It crushed ordinary Romans. Soldiers demanded more pay. Merchants started refusing the shoddy coins, and local trade collapsed into barter. Confidence in the entire system evaporated. This financial meltdown sparked what historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. 50 years of invasion, plague, civil war, and utter economic chaos. Emperors were popping up and getting assassinated faster than you could count. Behind all that political drama was a broken financial system. Taxes were being demanded in coins that were becoming increasingly worthless. Farmers abandoned their land because they couldn't make ends meet. Trade networks fractured. The government, of course, tried to fix it. Emperor Diocletian even tried price controls, issuing an edict on maximum prices for everything, from grain to labor wages, with death as the penalty for violators. But here's the lesson. You can't command prices to be stable when your money itself is worthless. The black market boomed, and official trade pretty much died. Rome eventually gave up on the denarius. Constantine tried a reset with a new gold coin, the solidus, which brought some temporary relief, particularly in the East. But the damage to the Western Empire's economic core was already catastrophic. The debasement had hollowed it out. Armies couldn't be sustained. Trust was gone, and trade had broken down. The fall of Rome wasn't one big event. It was a long, slow unraveling, and currency collapse was one of the sharpest threads. So why does any of this matter to us, sitting here in the 21st century? Because the destruction of money is, almost without fail, the destruction of empires. Think about Weimar Germany after WWI. Faced with crippling war reparations, they just fired up the printing presses. The result? A loaf of bread that cost 1 mark before the war was 200 billion marks by 1923. People were literally carting their wages home in wheelbarrows, only for it to be worthless the next day. Pensioners' life savings vanished overnight. Or take Zimbabwe in the early 2000s, where inflation hit an unimaginable 89.7 sextillion% annually. Prices doubled every single day. Shops couldn't change price tags fast enough. Eventually, they just dumped their national currency. Even here in the US, back in 1971, President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, severing its last tangible link. Our money became fiat currency, backed not by gold but by trust in the government. And what happened? Debt exploded, the money supply ballooned, and inflation has been a quiet, constant thief of purchasing power ever since. A dollar in 1971 could buy what takes over $6 today. Same-looking currency, but its real value has been hollowed out. The trick is always the same. Governments try to pull the wool over our eyes. They tell us higher wages mean prosperity, even as costs rise faster. They call debt investment, even when it's just funding consumption. They point to booming stock markets as proof of wealth, ignoring that most people own next to no stock. They pretend nothing fundamental has changed while quietly draining value from our wallets. And today, this isn't just an imperial, national, or local crisis. It's global. The entire world runs on fiat currencies with massive debts, and central banks ready to print trillions at the first hint of trouble. This means the next collapse won't be confined to one place. It will ripple across the entire planet. And if history is any guide, the ones who suffer won't be the elites with real assets, but the millions who rely on salaries, pensions, and savings denominated in increasingly fragile currencies. So, what can we, as individuals, learn from Rome's epic money meltdown? Inflation isn't a glitch, it's a feature. It's a silent, invisible tax, a deliberate policy that's brought down empires for 2 millennia. Real wealth isn't paper or pixels. It's in assets that actually hold value when money doesn't. Land, valuable skills, productive businesses, tangible resources. These are your true anchors. Don't mistake calm for permanence. History is full of people who thought their stable system would last forever. It didn't. Things can unravel slowly, then all at once. The barbarians at the gate might finish the job, but the real killer is always inside the treasury. History doesn't just repeat itself, it often rhymes. And if we don't understand that rhythm, we're bound to dance to its destructive tune.